Hi everyone, Quiveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, we are going to have a quick review of the sky for May, now that we are quite close to the end of the month. Even though we're at or nearly at our hottest point of the year, even though we're coming up into summer, the Earth is actually approaching its furthest from the Sun in our eccentric elliptical orbit. How close we are to the Sun in our orbit doesn't really make much difference to our temperature. The tilt of the Earth, our obliquity, is enough that the difference in our tilt, the difference between the northern hemisphere tilted towards the sun or tilted away from the sun, that has a much bigger impact on our temperature than how close we are to the sun. For other planets with more eccentric orbits, that could be different. But right now we are moving around the sun pretty much at our slowest. We'll be moving around the sun at our fastest closer to January, December and January. However, because of the exaggerated tilt of the Earth, the nights have gotten a lot shorter. So even though the stars that we're seeing in the sky at a given time shouldn't change too much, we're now limited to seeing the stars, or at least seeing them clearly like this, much closer to midnight. Now, this is our view with the moon in the sky. Even if I get rid of the moon, you can see that as we approach the end of May, here we are on the 31st, 11:15, and there is absolutely a glow of sunlight in the sky. So we are going to have to wait until incredibly late to see the kinds of stars that we would normally expect to see, a while after the sunset. But because the sunset is getting so much later, it's going to make things look a little bit different. So we are looking at the sky just about here. We'll go a little, well, at night, not in the morning. Let's fix that. We're going to try and catch some of the very first stars that appear. Now, the moon is in the sky. The moon is coming up to full at the end of the month, but it shouldn't make too much of a difference if you're looking for the brighter stars in the sky. So right up here, we've got Arcturus, going to be one of the first stars to come into the sky at the moment. Given that Sirius and Betelgeuse and a bunch of those other famous stars, they're gone below the horizon now. If we take a look over here, we've got Vega definitely showing through already and starting to see Deneb. Because we're so close to the end of May, by the time the sky is actually dark, we've already got Altair in the sky. So the whole summer triangle, from just after sunset, it will be with us until sunrise. So we're definitely, according to the summer triangle, coming into summer. We still have Leo in the sky, but Leo is very much to the southwest by the time the sky is dark at the moment. The plough is almost directly overhead by the time the sky is dark. So we can clearly see the arc of the handle, letting you arc to Arcturus and spike onto Spica, which is just there by the moon. So we can see that Virgo must be dominating a large portion of the sky in the evening. If we move just a little bit later, a little bit closer to midnight, 11:30, there is Antares, the brightest star in Scorpius. So we're now seeing Scorpius in the sky before midnight. And in just a couple of days, the very nearly full moon, 99.6% full, the very nearly full moon is going to be there in Scorpius, getting very close to Antares. So this is the 24th, the night of the full moon. Let's just see how close together they get from here in Ireland. They won't quite occult or anything like that, but they are very close together. And that is going to look lovely. That big full moon with the red star Antares just next to it. And it really is red. Anti-Ares, the enemy of the god of war. Of course, the planet Ares was renamed Mars, so the joke doesn't work quite as well anymore, but still a nice little thing for the ancient Greeks to throw into the sky. Sticking to the end of May, if we move a little bit closer to morning time, here we are, not quite 4 o'clock yet, and there is definitely a glow of sunrise in the sky. We can just about see Capella over there up above the sun. Ophiuchus, being the 13th side of the zodiac, isn't going to be as famous. We have Pegasus and Andromeda just above the sun. Saturn is very clear even from the city. Mars is getting there. It's still not quite going to be easy to see from a city even in late May. We're really going to have to wait until next month if you're in the city and light pollution that a city suffers from. If you're in the countryside, Mars is going to be a clear dot. It's going to be a clear orangey red dot above above the orange yellow glow of sunrise. We can definitely see more stars more clearly here, and that's going to let us pick out the shapes of constellations a lot easier. The summer triangle is nice and high in the sky early in the morning. We've got that clear shape of Cygnus there. Lyra is sort of a parallelogram, but it's pretty small and hard to spot in the sky. Moving back towards the sunset, well, there's Sagittarius, full, clear, the whole teapot. By 4:30, the sky is starting to brighten at 4:30, but if you're in the countryside, it should still be visible. We are looking at the sky here on a night with the moon close to full, not entirely full, but that is going to block out a lot of the Milky Way from our view. We've got Scorpius very clear there, and we can see how bright Antares really is when we're looking at a countryside sky, when it doesn't have to compete with light pollution. Continuing to move backwards, Spica is now very clear and bright just there next to the moon. We can see that the moon moves past Spica between the 20th and the 21st. So somewhere to the west of Ireland is going to get something like an occultation, or at least a very close conjunction on that date in between the 21st and the 20th. We're not going to quite get to see it here. Looking at the evening sky here, and even at 11 o'clock in the countryside, we're getting a glow of sunset. We'll move up to 11:30. Looking at the sky here at 11:30, we're definitely starting to see that kind of kite shape of Bootes. We can definitely see the shape of Leo there, and Virgo is still a very tough constellation to actually see. As so many constellations in the sky, we have this diamond shape for Arcturus, this diamond shape for Corvus, this sort of a trapezoidal shape there for Leo. They have these recognizable shapes, whereas Virgo, it's such an abstract shape. It's not quite a square, it's not quite a trapezoid, it's this kind of weird rectilinear thing in the sky. So that can be hard to sort out from the noisy background of abstract shapes that present themselves in the sky. If you let your imagination run away with itself, you could create all sorts of crazy constellations in the sky. Looking north early in the evening, again in the countryside, the plough of course is very clear, but we're also definitely starting to see a shape of the Little Dipper there thanks to the darkness, and Capella is very clear. If that's backwards in time, we'll move forwards in time. As we move through the night here, we do get to see the plough moving around the North Star a little bit, but with the nights being so short, it's not quite going to go all the way from above to below. As it starts to come underneath the North Star here, that glow of sunrise starts to come up and block it from view. Although this is quite a nice view, just about 4:10 in the morning. Some of the fainter stars have now disappeared, leaving us with the shape of the plough and those brighter stars that make up the legs and the head of Ursa Major. So they are going to be visible here in the morning time as things are starting to get bright. Another nice little kind of diamond-shaped constellation there, I believe to be Delphinus, but we can check. There it is, Delphinus the dolphin, absolutely. So it's a nice small constellation, but it definitely has that defined kind of obvious shape. Because we're getting so close to midsummer, I think it would be nice to try and get the Milky Way to appear. And it should pop up just about there. May have disappeared from the sky for some reason. Should be able to fix that. There we go. That might turn it back on. It did indeed. So there is the glow of the Milky Way. So here we are in early June. You can see the glow of the Milky Way there is nice and prominent. But as we come back, last couple of days of May, absolutely, you can just about see it there. But here we are in just a couple of days' time, and we can see the light of that nearly full moon obscuring the Milky Way really for the entire night. By the time the moon sets, the Milky Way is vanishing as well. So that's just a quick update on what we're going to see in terms of constellations and planets as we come end of May. Seeing Scorpius now in the evening, Virgo taking up a huge portion of the sky as the sun sets, Leo very much on the western side of the sky by the time it's dark enough to see anything, even from the countryside and certainly from the city. So the sky is going to appear to change quite quickly over the next couple of months. And that's mostly because the night is going to be so short. You'll have such little time to see these things in the sky that their positions will seem to change from night to night. But hopefully that will prepare you for what we've got to see over the next weekend or two. I hope that you enjoyed this show. I do try to look ahead to upcoming events, but also to the upcoming sky in general. Even if there's no comets or asteroids or meteor showers, there are still constellations and bright stars out there to be seen. So if you did enjoy this video, please do like it. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel to see more videos in the future. You can also read a little bit of this description on my website, queevidscontent.ie. But otherwise, until next time.